Have you guys noticed anything?
Seen anything like this before?
We got to know what Taylor was listening to, and I mean, the results were frightening.
Persecute,
country music.
persecute, cross, crucifixion. Like, this is crazy.
I don't know.
No. We're doing both. We're speaking now. We're doing arm lyricology. We're speaking now about arm lyricology.
You have to be. I literally almost threw my computer out the window. I made a comment.
Maybe Rob Sheffield was right.
I don't like to say those words. I don't like it when those words come out of your mouth, Madeline. Welcome back to Evolution of a Snake. I'm Zach.
And I'm Madeline.
And this is the Taylor Swift podcast, and we are doing something that only the Taylor Swift podcast could do today. Have you guys noticed anything?
Seen anything like this before? Mine's terrible.
Oh, mine is awful as well.
It looks like a kid did it in second grade, and it's not finished. It's not the whole lyric because I ran out of space.
Me too. So if you can't see, if you don't have the video accompaniment to this, which you can get for free on YouTube, we have arm lyrics all up our arms, and we have 13s on our hands, and we have friendship bracelets ready to go, which means that we can only be doing one thing today, and that is arm lyricology.
I was going to say speaking now, so it's a good thing we didn't say it at the same time.
Well, we're doing both things.
We're doing both. We're speaking now. We're doing arm lyricology. We're speaking now about arm lyricology.
Mm-hmm.
Forget about it.
They said you'll run out of stuff to talk about when the EOAS tour is over. We said, oh,
Not
no,
us.
no.
Not us. You see, that's what you get when you're talking to a couple of real veteran Swifties. Not these people who showed up because they wanted to see the spectacle of the EOAS tour. Oh, no.
Mm-mm.
We were there. We were there. We were in the back row at the Speak Now tour. We were.
Crying,
I wasn't,
throwing up,
personally,
screaming.
but...
Rob Sheffield was there filming us crying, and we were there actually doing the crying.
Yep.
So if you're not familiar, I think, and you should be if you're not, but this is the Taylor Swift podcast, so we have to do our education moment. On the Speak Now tour, one of Taylor's greatest tours of all time, some might say, she decided that every night she would have a physical mood ring on her arm. So she would draw arm lyrics on one of her arms, and it would kind of, I mean, for us, we interpreted it that she was, doing secret messaging of her feelings to us. And that is, in fact, what she was doing.
She described them as like a mood ring. That's how she described her arm lyrics. So it wasn't as if we were projecting things onto her based on our own psychosis or our own situations. It was actually literally a mood ring. And she was putting lyrics on her arm that she said were whatever she felt at the given time. And that could mean many different things. Maybe it's just a song she really liked. Or maybe it described her situation perfectly. Or maybe she was just feeling kind of freaky deaky.
Or maybe it was
night.
a political message.
Maybe and you wouldn't believe it. If you could believe it, she was doing more political messaging through arm lyrics on the Speak Now tour than she's doing today. If you can believe it.
Only the young times 10, if you can even believe that. But, the arm lyric thing is, I think we both agree, one of the best examples of what an Easter egg actually is, because it's grounded in reality. It's Taylor intentionally doing something for us to figure out and discuss later. It is not counting tiles on the EOAS tour screen. It is not 100-day cycles between announcements. It is not clowning for debutation every night. This is real.
This is real, and this is the real life, and this is my life. And I cheered.
And we were going back through it, and I have to say, we made some connections.
Yeah, there were things that I definitely didn't know at the time, because a lot of it is actually things that we wouldn't know until Red came out, the next year. So that was an Easter egg. Not people don't understand this. An Easter egg is something that happens, and you don't even know it happens.
It reveals itself later. That's the best kind of Easter egg. You don't see I'm pressing the 5th floor on an elevator and go, and an Easter egg isn't about her announcing something. It's a secret about her personal life, which is what we were so invested in all these years ago and what she wanted us to be looking for, hunting clues about, and charting her movements.
That was the way things used to be. And then certain events came to pass.
The evil entered the chat.
And now we can't have that kind of stuff anymore. But we can reflect. But we can certainly reflect.
It was a real treat logging onto Tumblr every day and seeing what she had written on her damn arm.
I was really surprised. I'm kind of wondering as I was going through them, because for a couple of them, I wanted to see them actually on her arm. And there's no good pictures of it, so you can't read it. And I was like, how are people finding this out? It must have been like messages from the front row.
Well,
That must
they
have been how we were
documented
finding
it
stuff out.
in real time. I
Yeah.
remember people would come on and say, this is what I saw. And then someone else would come on and say, actually, it said this. And they would both have been to the show and they would both be fighting and there would be no picture. So you'd be like, okay, so who's telling the truth? But also, you know, Taylor notoriously has a unique script. So it did take us a couple hours sometimes to really decipher what the message on the arm was. And that was all part of the fun, baby.
That was all part of the fun. And I was having a ball on that bitch. Every night, Tumblr.com.
And I was having a ball going through it today. So we're going to go through all of the arm lyrics from every show of the Speak Now tour. She only started doing this after she did the international leg of the tour, which, as we all know, was disrespected and treated like garbage. So it's really just going from then until, I think, the beginning of 2012. And this was a very interesting period of time in Taylor's life, because something I noticed is that she was really on the precipice of growing up in a way and maturing herself and her audience in a really big shift, because the image shift from Speak Now to Red was insane.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. It was absolutely a total 180. We went from gowns, beautiful gowns, princess gowns, to grandma in a matter of moments.
Shorts
and in a matter of moments, it was grandma o'clock.
I'll never change, but I'll never stay the same either.
Many people to this day, they don't understand that sacred message. Luckily, we do. Luckily, we understand the sacred text.
I never forgot the essence of her spark. I didn't.
Never once. No.
Never did, never will. It's not part of my experience. I'm not interested in that. So this was the last time I would say she did like really true, like, I'm going to spill some tea about my life. I think then she went through a brief Twitter era after this where she was kind of being a little shady on Twitter, but then that ended too. So you know what? Why don't we talk? So we split it up. I did the first part of the tour and Madeline did the second part of the tour. So let's keep in mind where we are. The Speak Now tour starts in May. And actually, before we even get into it, I need to let everyone know that Evolution of a Snake is coming to a city near you in the United States. The Snares tour is coming. I almost forgot, but I didn't. Come to see us, evolutionofasnake.com. We sold out Los Angeles, okay? So you
Not just anybody can say that.
And you lost in Los Angeles, okay? So LA Queens, we love you. We warned you, and we're warning you, DC. You're next. So if you want to come to the DC show, I would be getting tickets right now.
Speak now.
Literally
speak now.
Speak now. So what do we know about where Taylor is at mentally at this part of the Speak Now tour? Well, she had just broken up with Jake Gyllenhaal in December of 2010, and rehearsals for the Speak Now tour were ongoing in the beginning of the year. Then she did the international Ugly Stepchild version of the tour in February. So we know that she had written All Too Well by the time this American leg of the tour had started. And she also revealed in a live chat with Google or YouTube, I can't remember which one, that she was writing a lot of sad songs for the record. And this was kind of in the middle of the tour in the summer. We can take this to mean the less enthusiastic parts of Red. So we're talking All Too Well, Better Man, I Almost Do, Sad, Beautiful, Tragic. Things aren't looking good for the diva and her mental state at this point. Okay, she's depressed fairytale princess core. And an important thing to note, and Madeline will probably get into this later on, is that in September, she wrote the song Red, and that like drastically changed the approach of the album and what she was going to do. So you'll notice there are a lot of honky-tonk country songs being used as lyrics.
Oh yeah, a lot of them. This wasn't no it's okay to just admit that you're jealous of me, or this ain't Texas. Like, none of that. It was literally country by people you don't know.
People that no one knows
and
is what really shocked me.
MEN men that you don't care about, like Gavin DeGraw. Gavin DeGraw, now famous for playing at the Trump inauguration. Keep that in mind. And then Matt Nathanson. Who?
Ryan Adams. It's cricket. It really is cricket. Before we get into it, Madeline, what lyric did you choose to put on your arm today?
So I chose. You guys have to see how bad this looks.
It looks really bad.
I had to do
it.
It looks really bad. So I had to do it on this arm because this isn't obviously not like this is the worst canvas.
Right.
So I had to do it on this one, and that means I'm using my opposite arm, which is I'm a left-handed. So I had to do it with my right hand, and I'm not ambidextrous, so it looks like but it says, after all that we've been through. It's supposed to say, after all that we've been through, I know we're cool, but it just says, after all that we've been through. I don't know how she was fitting all this on her arm.
That's what I kept wondering too. Like, some of these lyrics that she chose are long. And her script is big too. So I wonder if she had to do like multiple takes, or was it just like let go, let God? I don't remember them ever looking bad.
No, they looked cool on her.
Because I've seen bad 13s from her. I've seen a lazy 13 from her.
Oh, that's true. Oh, yeah. I think that it would be so funny to go through and do like an autopsy of like every single 13. Like I should do that on Lizard View for like a written post.
Oh, that would be a good one.
But
the lyric that I put was, I slept in castles and fell in love because I was taught to dream. And that's just the one that sticks out to me in my memory. Nostalgic core. It's the one.
It's the one. The one that sticks out to me as like the one is, it's picture me in ribbons and curls, always your baby girl, or something like that. That one really stuck out to me.
Some of the lyrics that she picked are really beautiful, and something that I really liked seeing as well going through them was I would read the lyrics to some of these songs, and every single time I was like, she picked the best lyric. Like, she picked the most beautiful phrase. She picked the thing that described what the song is talking about most accurately, because she's a writer.
She also chose, if you look at some of the songs, some of them are some real clunkers, but she managed to go through and pick like the poignant part of them. And it's like, I try to imagine her sitting there and listening to some of these songs, and I was like, that's kind of crazy. But she had to have been.
It's like a playlist too. That's what's interesting about the ARM lyrics, is like, we got to know what Taylor was listening to. And I mean, the results were frightening, but and there were no algorithms as well. So I'm like, how did you find some of these MEN men? Some of them have less than 100,000 listeners on Spotify. CC Natalie outsold.
CC Natalie quite literally outsold some of these people she was putting on her arms. And that's why she's the original baddie. She was doing underground, like guerrilla, and this was before Spotify, man.
And they called her a fake country girl. If I noticed anything from this first part of the tour specifically, was that she was country, listening to it, deep cuts, not just Dolly Parton.
And they had the balls to say she's not country enough. Oh, she's more country than most of these people. They don't even know that. She's country.
Carrie Underwood, have you heard this song? Have you heard this Kiss by Faith Hill?
Carrie Underwood.
I don't
Miss
know.
Acapella. Have you heard
I don't
this
think
before?
So.
I don't think so.
I don't think she can read, to be honest. So she's not doing arm lyrics anytime soon. All right, let's start then. So our very first arm lyric ever of all time is, "You've got every right to a beautiful life." Well, yes!
Put that down in writing. And she did. And she put that down in writing to let us know. And it's true. You so tell me.
True.
Selena Gomez, thank you for your service as usual.
Who Says is one of those songs that can just uplift a diva when she is down in her darkest moments.
Well, it takes, because remember, we talked about this, I think it was in a Kiki Lounge. We talked about how there was a time period when I was young where I was doing Pretty Girl, Let's Hate on Her to Selena Gomez. And then Who Says came out, and I said, and now I'm a Selena Gomez fan. And that's what turned me into a Selena Gomez fan. I said, I never said that. Paris is my friend, etc., etc. And I remember this arm lyric. Yeah.
You're not star potential. Who says that?
Who says you can't be the best? Would you tell me who said that?
You can't.
And the way that she says it in the song is like, I will find them, I will hunt them, and I will kill them for you. Thank you, Selena.
If I'm in the right mood, I can literally bawl my eyes out to that song to this day. Like, it is, I don't know, it just is, it's true. Who says you're not star potential?
Well, I'm no beauty queen, I'm just beautiful me.
I'm just beautiful me. And Taylor really needed to hear that message at this moment, because what you're going to realize.
She did.
Oh, she was down. She was down bad. So the next night is in Omaha, Nebraska. I recommend getting your heart trampled on to anyone. This is from Alanis Morissette's You Learn. When you're getting into Jagged Little Pill in 2011, you're struggling. You're in a place of, I'm upset. You're in a place of catharsis. And I think it's interesting that she chose this line, because there are more hopeful and optimistic lines from the song. It's about like learning from your pain, but This is the better than revenge girl. She's sharpening her knives.
And that's on Period.
And that is on Period. Next up, the third night, May 29th, she said, Cinderella said to Snow White, how did love get so off course? This is a Faith Hill song. She was really listening to Faith Hill. She was really listening to Faith Hill.
Well, when I was going through the notes and I saw what you wrote about this song, I was silenced. Since, do you not know this is one of the greatest songs ever made? I'm asking you, genuinely.
I don't know this song. My country music familiarity is so low.
Did you just say, I don't know this song?
I don't. You have to stop persecuting me for not being a person that grew up with country music.
Persecute, cross, crucifixion. Like, this is crazy.
I don't know this song.
No. This is the greatest song ever made.
Random song.
Well, first of all, it has one of the most, it has several needle drops in film. Let's start there. But one of the most iconic needle drops of This Kiss by Faith Hill occurs in Practical Magic, starring Sandra Bullock and Nicole Kidman. Not people don't know this.
Not everybody knows
that. People don't know this. It's one of the greatest songs ever made. I clapped and I cheered.
Well, this song is a fairy tale princess construction. And you know what? It kind of gave me When Emma Falls in Love tea, the song.
Oh, 100%. Oh, it is that song. This is what I'm talking about. It's the blueprint.
I wouldn't know that.
It's the blueprint.
But you've informed me.
I was
and now
in
I
the
do.
car. My dad had like a particular hair for country music, specifically female country music. He loved Shania Twain. I mean, hello. Okay. And we would listen to the song all the time. I just love the line about Cinderella and Snow White, incidentally.
So did Taylor.
Disney.
Did Taylor.
I was a little girl. Disney.
This is when Taylor's like delusions of romance being like a game that you could win or play right, or you could kind of control how other people acted towards you. That was really being shattered because she was going through, I would say, her first real adult heartbreak. Obviously, we had John Mayer, but like, as we've discussed, there's something about the Jake Gyllenhaal dynamic that really fundamentally changed her in a way that like has not happened since. I think it's like a combination of things. Like, it happened at a specific time in her life when she was feeling a little bit kind of like, what do I do next with my career? And I think she thought her life was going to be one way with this guy, and then it ended up that he was a loser.
Many such cases, by the way.
Many
it ain't unique.
Cases.
It ain't unique.
So she's trying to get over this man. She's trying to shake him. And the next show in Fort Lauderdale on June 2nd, and for one desperate moment there, he crept back in her memory. This is a lyric from Tom Petty's American Girl. Now, this is another one of those hallmark arm lyric moments. This was a world stop moment when we saw this one. Because we were like, who's she talking about? And the answer was always on Tumblr, Joe Jonas. We never considered other people. We were only willing for it to be Taylor Lautner or Joe Jonas.
Well, I don't think that the Jake Gyllenhaal thing was primo. People didn't like it. There was a multitude of reasons for that. The film people really didn't like it and they reviled it, and it was like immediately like a bad relationship in the press, and it caused problems when you were a fan because then you had to deal with these people. And second of all, we only knew that they were together publicly for like a month.
Yeah, we weren't really
to us,
aware of the ins and outs.
It seemed very short, but it's like Matty Healy again. It never is. There's always more to it. There's always more to it.
Didn't
realize. It was like the top of the iceberg, and then when Red came out, it was like going underneath and being like, ah! Same thing with Tortured Poets. Same thing with Tortured Poets.
That's why they're sisters. So for one desperate moment there, he crept back in her memory. This wasn't just one desperate moment. We know she was on that tour bus saying, I'm going to kill myself. And I'm going to write that beautiful tragic.
Funny. It wasn't funny.
It wasn't funny at all. But this song is really interesting at this period in her life because it was her walk-on song before the Speak Now tour started. And it's like a classic American tale about growing up and moving on. I kind of view it as like the straight man's version of Wide Open Spaces. There's something more grown up about it, like being on the precipice of becoming who you really are and needing to just shake those last pieces of who you once were.
Precisely. And lest we forget, she did a cover of this song Once Upon a Time. Beautiful cover.
And it bootsed the house down.
Oh, I thought it was the best song ever made. And I remember listening to the original and being like,
cricket. Me too. Tom Petty.
Many such cases. Tom Petty, you are nothing.
When I heard Drops of Jupiter by Taylor Swift before I heard the train version. And when I heard the train version, whoop, silent. Another episode for us to do for sure is the covers. We've got to do the covers at some point. We couldn't do it here because there's too much to get into. There's just too much to get into here. After that, we have It Took a While to Understand the Beauty of Just Letting Go. The Chicks. I love it when Taylor references the Chicks. We don't talk about their influence on her enough. This is a very pretty better man kind of style of song, basically being forced to let go of someone because they're too dumb and annoying to understand what you need from them. Another lyric from that is, it would take an acrobat to make him change, but I already tried all that. Well,
Gagged him.
as with ease and with pleasure.
With ease. And as they do many times over, the Chicks, especially the early catalog, honestly, even their later catalog too, is all about cooking. Goodbye,
them.
Earl.
Mm-hmm. You're dead,
Goodbye.
Earl. You're dead. But I think, this month we also know that she cooked up 2 songs in June of 2011. We can speculate on what those were shortly, but just keep in mind, she was pissed, but she was also sad. It was 2 things at the same time. Then we have, I guess we're all one phone call from her knees. This is another one that sticks out in my brain as us being like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, best line ever. And when I revisited this song, Matt Kearney, Closer to Love. Oh no, not a good song. Have you heard this?
Oh, Matt Kearney is one of the worst people alive. I knew this. Matt Nathanson too. All these men. All of these men.
Who is Matt Kearney? He's just a random country guy.
Yeah, like singer-songwriter. Like, oh my God. Kind of like John Mayer style. It's the same thing. It's always the same.
And Taylor was clapping. She was really clapping loud and proud for these songs. But you know what? Does this song ring a bell to you? We're all one phone call from our knees. Does it sound like something she may have written herself? A little song called I Almost Do. It also silenced me when I figured out that this is a gospel song. And it's not the first gospel song. Of course it is. On this list.
Of course it is. Well, you know what?
And it's not the last.
Back in the day, I was listening to Flyleaf. I was listening to Reliant K. Some of these Christian rock bands go crazy. I wasn't listening to Need to Breathe. But I was listening to some other stuff. So whatever. Go off, girl.
Well, you know what? And again, writerly instincts. The rest of this song lyrically is very generic and boring. But that one line, it's just interesting to think of Taylor like maybe just, putting her iPod on shuffle on the tour bus and like trying to land on something that felt, it must have been a really fun challenge to like put something on her arm every night. I love that about her. But next night we got a song that she did twice on this tour, Lose Yourself by Eminem.
It speaks to her.
It has been speaking to her for years.
For years, from debut forward, it was speaking to her in a big way.
If you get it, I guess at the karaoke bar, she'd go crazy.
I guess, like, I understand the vision of, like, I'm going to put this on before I go on stage. Like, I definitely get it. That's what that song was, like, made for. It was made for putting it on before you have to go out there and give your all. So I see her vision. Maybe that was what she turned to whenever she had nothing in the bank. She was like, whatever, Eminem, talk to me.
Sure, why not, Jen? Yeah. So the specific lyric that she picked was, one life, you've got to do what you should. And I think at this point she was really trying to be like, I'm moving on. I'm doing better than I ever was. And we all know that whenever Taylor says that, it's a delusion. When you say this is the happiest I've ever been and you play Question, we side-eye. What else are we supposed to do? Next up is the best arm lyric of all time, what I have on my arm today. I slept in castles and fell in love because I was taught to dream. It's from Faith Hill, another Faith Hill song called Fireflies, which starts with, before you met me, I was a fairy princess. So jot that down. Take that down.
Yeah,
make
write
notes.
That down.
Make that a tattoo. Put that on the back of your brain. This song is about reconnecting with your childlike self, full of wonder and hope and belief in love after someone has really shaken that in you. And we have been knowing who did that to her.
We have been knowing exactly who did that to her.
He said it's supposed to be fun turning 21.
21.
But it wasn't. Anybody
else?
else? Up next, she had Eminem again. Okay. We don't care. She said, you better lose yourself in the music. Okay, that's not interesting.
Detroit, baby. Detroit.
I'm not interested in that. Then we have Remember Me in Ribbons and Curls. Love Your Baby Girl. This is from Madeline's favorite band, Sugarland.
This is a piece of Madeline lore. I hate Sugarland. I think that Jennifer Nettles cannot sing and it should be regulated. It needs to be a controlled substance when a Sugarland song comes on. It's frightening.
It was hard for her when Babe came out. It was hard.
Well, I've never listened to it. Not all the way through. Not the Sugarland version.
She couldn't get the brilliance of it until Taylor came out and said, let me do it myself.
Same thing with Better Man. I don't care. See, this is what I'm talking about. If Taylor's not singing most of these songs, I say,
you're not listening. You are not listening.
What do you want me to do about it?
So I think this arm lyric is very intentional because it was on her arm in Nashville, not for a full concert, but for the CMA Fest. And I can't help but feel like this was very pointed. She was on the cusp of a pivot into pop. And at least in her mind, she hadn't really written those pop songs yet, but I think she knew that she was going through this like emotional, creative growth spurt. And she was still America's sweetheart, especially in the context of like the CMA Awards. Remember that you love me, girls, when I start doing ooh, wow, ooh, ooh in my high waisted shorts and my bangs. Okay, take a good long look at this Cavalli dress and these ringlet curls because they are not long for this world.
She was doing one of these, the slow descent into the pop crevasse.
She was saying goodbye. Good luck with booking that stage you speak of. I won't be back here next year. Although she was. She did come back for the Red Arrow one more time. Then we had Love Has a Thousand Faces by Randy Montana. Who the is that?
We don't know.
Has anyone heard of this man?
I wonder if he was like, this was a song that came out the time and it was like a one-hit wonder sort of a moment for Randy Montana.
Many such cases.
I don't remember it. I do not remember it.
Maybe she just had country radio on. That actually probably is exactly what it is. She had country radio on. But were they really playing this? Like, this doesn't even have 900,000 streams. Even to this day,
maybe
after the Taylor promo.
She's all 900,000. That's the gag.
That probably is the gag. This song is about loving someone before you even met them. So she was really kind of trying to get back into her hopeless romantic era. And the song isn't terrible. The refrain is, I dreamed of you. So are we manifesting a Kennedy here? It's more likely than you think.
Many such cases.
Then we have a moment, a love, a dream, a laugh, a kiss, a cry, our rights, our wrongs. How the does she get that on her arm?
I've been wondering the same thing.
So
I've been wondering the same thing. It's crazy. She
it's also
literally
hard
was doing
to
witchcraft.
do. Like angle wise, it's hard to do. Your arm doesn't go.
Using this is my correct hand. No, this is my correct hand. That was scary. And it's like you have to do it. Well, if you're using your right hand, it's like backwards.
Your arm also isn't a straight
but
canvas.
Not if you're
you can't go straight down it.
If you're right-handed, it's actually not. This is up.
She did it.
This is so up.
Somehow she did it. And this song is Sweet Disposition by Temp Trap. Taylor was obsessed with this song. Minnesota, June 15th. Well, won't stop till it's over is the secret message for Treacherous. So let's jot that down. Everybody jot that down. Some people are of the opinion that Sweet Disposition is a Haler song, but the real no, this is a Jakler song, okay? He apparently loved Temp Trap, and this is the indie record that was much cooler than hers. And you know what? I'm not accepting that that's a Haler moment.
No,
you can try it, but I won't.
Rewriting the history because we weren't saying that back in the day.
Because then we get into Treacherous is about Harry Styles, and I can't do that because it's not true.
No, we can't do that because it's not true. So write that one down too. I mean, we're
Fact
right.
Check.
Take the notes.
Yeah, girls, you really need to be getting the notebooks out. So on June 17th in her diary, thank you, Lover Diaries, for filling in, context. She wrote, I've become blissfully happy with my life. I've noticed this onset for a while, but it's really hit me in the last week, especially since I wrote these 2 new songs. Okay, so Laurie McKenna also revealed in an interview after Red TV came out that this period of time is when Taylor wrote I Bet You Think About Me, and that would make sense for the Temp Trap Delusions right before because it's like the Jagged Little Pill connection of it all. But for the 2 songs she's referencing here, I think the other one is actually I Almost Do, based on the arm lyric from the beginning of the month and the one, one phone call from your niece, etc. And I remember saying many times I felt like those 2 songs were vindicated, like they were almost like mentally written in the same spot in the same chair. And you know what? I feel vindicated and overjoyed by that.
And that's on period.
That's on period.
It's definitely.
And those are 2 country songs.
Yeah, so write that down again.
Both very honky-tonk country songs, actually. There's no pop in either of those songs.
Yeah.
And that's on that. Where I was born, where I was raised, where I keep all my yesterdays. This was Montgomery Gentry, My Town, performed in Pittsburgh. I mean, Pennsylvania. This is pretty obvious. We don't need to linger there too much. Then we have I Am Just a Dreamer, But You Are Just a Dream from Neil Young. Again, an old man, like a hurricane. You know what's interesting? There's no pop songs. No pop songs so far.
It's okay to just admit that you're jealous of me. That was not happening. That was not happening. Imagine if she was doing arm lyrics today. I don't think it would look
love to see it
like this. And we would like to see it. These are the things
Well,
that imagine in today's
she
day
would
and
have,
age.
you think you're the fart, but you think you're the shit, but you ain't even the fart. Like, that's what she would be
By
putting
Ice
on
Spice,
her
no,
arm.
it would be like her gassing up her friends. You'd have Suki Waterhouse lyrics on her
I
arms.
love you, I'm
like
sorry every night.
Sabrina Carpenter, which I would cheer for.
Yeah,
That's that me espresso. I'm working like I'm a singer. That's a great arm lyric right there.
Oh,
we need
that's
that.
a great arm lyric. That would be another great episode for us to do. Arm lyrics, future arm lyrics
that
for the
we
tour.
think that she should do.
You see, we don't run out.
Shit up.
Self-generating machine.
Yeah.
But that song, that Like a Hurricane song, you are like a hurricane, there's a calm in my eyes, I'm getting swept away. There's something very treacherous about that. I'm just saying. I'm just spitting it out there for everybody's
and I'm hearing
consideration.
it, and I'm clapping and I'm cheering.
Then, because when I close my eyes, I'm somewhere with you, Kenny Chesney, somewhere with you, Connecticut. This is The Way I Loved You song. It's literally about being with someone new and wishing you were someone else.
It's also the greatest song ever made. People don't know this. This is literally...
Now, this one I know.
Oh, it's so good. I love everything about it. I remember the first time I heard it, I was at my friend's house, and I was like, what is this? This is the greatest song ever.
Is the only female songwriter or singer that has been featured here Faith Hill so far?
Yes.
Sugarland, I guess. Jennifer Nettles.
I guess.
Your queen.
Well, we don't have to examine that too closely.
That's not my business.
That's not.
This is when we were performing Better Than Revenge every night.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you think that she was doing girl power? No.
And we
in her own way. In her way, she was. And so, period.
Some of us felt it. Some of us received that girl power.
We did.
Then she said in Boston, she wrote the lyric, she said, I think I'll go to Boston. Well, thank you for that. That's really interesting. Then the rain show in Foxboro, Massachusetts, Gillette, iconic rain show, Long Live in the Rain, like love from a drunken sky, confetti falling down all night. Tim McGraw, she's my kind of rain. Well,
very romantic.
It just had to be that way.
Very Speak Now kind of a moment.
Then we have our first, I guess, contemporary song. And this is by, I think, Madeline, this is one of your enemies. She's kind of one of my enemies. It's Ingrid Michaelson's song.
No, I cheered.
Breakable.
I cheered when I wrote that. When I read that in the notes, I was like, somebody else gets it.
I hate
Ingrid
this
Michaelson.
bitch. I hate that. No offense to her, but
right. I hate that this episode, there's like a lot of I hates, but like Ingrid Michaelson is like a longtime enemy. And it's personal.
A noted foe of the lizard
nation. And it's personal. And it's personal. Thank you.
Well, I've never heard an Ingrid Michaelson song that didn't make me want to turn it off.
And we should.
And I know that Taylor was really only interested because of Grey's Anatomy. I know that that's how she found Ingrid Michaelson, and I know that's why she stayed tuned.
That's how she found a lot of music. Consider that. Grey's Anatomy was like, you remember when everybody was getting their music from the OC because the OC was playing like Death Cab for Cutie, and it was like, whoa, nobody had ever heard anything like that before. Taylor's OC was Grey's Anatomy, and that's really depressing.
And that's on period, I suppose. But the lyric she chose is, we are just breakable, breakable, breakable girls and boys. This is a song about being young and careless with your heart and someone else's. So congratulations, but I don't care about this. I don't care about Ingrid Michaelson. Sorry. Then on June 30th, she posts on Taylor Connect, basically gushing about how she cannot stop writing. She feels she's reached this new creative peak. She's very excited about everything she has wanted to let out for the last several months, pouring out of her. And she was right. She was right to say that. You Won't Be the Songs That I Could Never Write Again. Need to Breathe. Again, this is in Knoxville, Tennessee on July 1st. Now, this is a juicy and revealing selection from her weird Christian rock opening band. Thankfully not about God. This song is about not wanting to fall in love with someone again. It's an angry song, but it's also a powerless song. I don't want to have to see you leave me. Maybe I'm a fake. Maybe I'm a lie. Maybe our last chance died with last night. This sounds like a fresh breakup or a fresh situation, not a situation that happened in December and it's now June. Because I don't want to stay. I don't want to fall in love with you again. So what you're saying is, every time I don't, I almost do.
Exactly. So just to sum it up, every time I don't, I almost do.
If you're picking up what we're putting down here, that's what it is. Then we have in Montreal, When You're Alone, You Ain't Nothing But Alone. She's going down. She's going down.
She's going down streaks.
She's up. She was so back up, and now it's down again. I think this might be Sad, Beautiful, Tragic territory. She was not feeling good. The arm lyrics from this part of the tour are literally, we're so back, it's so over. I love my life. I hate my life. When it goes, it's gone. This song is about someone begging you to take them back and you going, no, girls, it's over. The Last Time tea. And we have to be honest about that.
Well, you can think about The Last Time being inspired by Bruce Springsteen. I mean, maybe Rob Sheffield was right.
I don't like to say those words. I I don't like it when those words come out of your mouth, Madeline.
Well,
Up next, we have Money Can't Buy You Back the Love You Had Then, Feist 1, 2, 3, 4. Not the iPod song. Not the iPod song.
Oh, I know. It's like forever associated with that. And I hate that I keep saying this, but I hated Feist. Please, I was a teenager. I hated so many things.
Well, you're allowed to hate stuff. This is all from like also
hate.
15 years ago. You are allowed to not like this.
There's somebody in the comments who's going to be caping for Feist.
There always is.
There always is a caper.
On my Demi Lovato video, someone left a comment and said, "Don't come for Mike Posner like that." You have to be... I literally almost threw my computer out the window. I made a comment. Mike Posner. I made a comment in the video being like, Demi Lovato went on this flop tour with Nick Jonas that was sponsored by Honda Civic. I called it the Sweat Tour for Straight Virgins. And I said that Mike Posner being the opening act made it a flop summit. And their comment was, "Don't come from Mike Posner like that."
Mike Posner? I took a pill in Ibiza?
Literally. I couldn't even... I was like, this is everything, everyone, every substance has a shooter.
I'm so sorry.
I could say I hate... Well, it's something that's really bad that everybody hates. I could say...
I hate J.K. Rowling.
I hate war.
I hate J.K. Rowling.
And someone would be like, "Well, actually, that's not a fair depiction of war." You said, "Shut up."
And then there's somebody coming in. Well, if you knew anything about J.K. Rowling or Harry Potter, it's like, we're not caping for transphobes in 2025. No, I hate to tell you that, but somebody is. Someone somewhere is doing that. But anyway, this song is about evolving in the face of heartbreak. So that's what she was trying to do. Then we have a Mandy Moore song. A Mandy Moore song. Gardenia is the song. It's actually kind of a good song. When I listened to it, I was like, this is kind of good. I didn't know she had like a singer-songwriter turn. She did. And what I love about her, and we've talked about this with Jessica Simpson, she has the kind of voice where she thinks she's really singing.
Right.
It's like, but I
take it down one notch.
I like me and Mandy.
Like a half notch. Well, Mandy, I just didn't know that she had like a turn as a serious songwriter. I thought that she just did the teeny bopper stuff and then switched into acting, but no. She did this. But the lyric that Taylor selected was, "Doing all the things that I neglected, I traded them all to be in your arms." Who was listening to this? Taylor was. It was a 2007 album, 4-year-old album. Taylor's listening. But this song is kind of tea. It's about turning heartbreak into something useful. Another quote is, "It's so easy to get caught up in what I'm regretting. Forget what I got from a wounded heart." Taylor got her life from a wounded heart. Hello. That's her work. It's her inspiration. It's everything to her. But also this song is about like checking back in with yourself after being abducted in a relationship for a really long time. And we like to see it.
And we really like to see it. I feel like there's long since been a narrative about Taylor has really never been single. And you can make the argument that there's been some long periods of time where she wasn't. But this was a time period where she was single for like a while. And she was really connecting the dots on herself. And we saw that because when she was doing Red, she had like reinvented herself. You see how that works?
The introspection.
You see how when you let the girl cook on her own, magic happens.
When the girl takes the time to cook on her own, also. When the girl takes the time to cook on her own.
Yeah, exactly.
She doesn't do that anymore. She hasn't been doing that for a while. But you know what? It's okay. The next lyric that we have is, "Belief builds from scratch, doesn't have to relax, it doesn't need space." Gavin DeGraw, Belief. Nobody cared. Nobody moved. This is in New Jersey on July 19th. Why was she listening to this? I listened to it and it's just dude rock. I hate it. Nobody cares.
You will never know peace. I don't want to be anything.
Well, up next we have another flop summit. It's Matt Nathanson for the second night in New Jersey. "You're someone else's baby. Yeah, you're someone else's crazy now." This is funny because many such cases, I think many men would reflect and say this exact same thing about her. But you know what? We don't chastise men enough for acting the fool in relationships and being crazy. So go off, queen. Go off.
I just thought about don't come for Mike Posner like that again. Oh, I'm so sorry. That is really the joke of my life. That is really good.
We know Jake was also trying to crawl back in for months and be gone. You go talk to your friends, talk to my friends, talk to me, but we are never, ever getting back together. So jot that down. Up next, she's still in New Jersey. I was only there to sing your song. What were you protecting yourself from? This is a Jimmy Eat World song, mixtape. She loves Jimmy Eat World. We've been knowing that. This is a mad song. She's still hurt. She might say he's someone else's crazy, but she's still keeping score.
And I think we should talk about it. I also love when she references other people's songwriting. There's something kind of like Inception-y about using this kind of lyric. I was only there to sing your song. It's like, it's a Jimmy Eat World lyric, but then also she takes it and makes it her own because she's relating to the song in such a deep way. Like, she was quite literally only there to sing his song, and so was he. It's like, whoa, 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 whoa.
And you were being defensive and building up walls when I was trying to be intimate with you, and you shut me out. You kept me like a secret, but I kept you like an oath. We've been knowing that. You see how the things that we've been knowing come to life. The next one is also in New Jersey, I believe. How many shows did she do in New Jersey? This is insane. Mindy Smith, Love Lost. It's been a long, hot summer, and I'm still trying to leave you alone. I am dying to know more about the yo-yoing of Jake and Taylor, because she talks about it a lot on Red, like getting back together the last time, letting someone breaking up, when really they only technically dated for like a couple of months. So I'm like, when was this overlap happening? Was it happening when you were on tour? Was he just blowing up her phone on the tour bus? I think that might have been the case. She was down bad in strange and disarming ways. But you know what's interesting about this song is it references feeling blue a lot. That color is referenced over and over again. I don't want to feel this blue. I want to be over you. And Red would come to fruition just a few months later.
You see how that works? You see how all of the pieces come together? And really, you still haven't even seen the full picture.
Oh, no, because it's going to get crazier.
It gets crazier.
You're going to see. And this, I wish we still had clues like this, because then things like Torture Poets would not gag us the way that they did. Although Red still gagged us. We don't look in the right places, and that's the beauty of an Easter egg.
Yep.
If it's obvious, it's not a good one. Up next, we have Paramore, Misguided Ghost in Grand Rapids. Now, this is the show where Taylor Lautner was in attendance. And the lyric that she chose to put on her arm for that was, "We all learn to make mistakes and run from them." Backflipping fiend, Taylor Lautner, again, was in attendance at the show. She also changes the lyrics in Back to December from "If the chain is on your door, I understand," to "So this is from the boy from Michigan." That was everything to me.
Oh, I love that. I was on cloud nine. Well, lest we forget, I was a big Taylor Squared fan.
Oh, same.
I was like, they're getting back together. Worth living. I was happy. There was a reason to get out of bed in the morning. And I was like, okay, perfect. They're getting back together. I'm so happy that didn't happen because we had to keep the timeline preserved. But it was nice to think for a moment that could have happened.
And we thought it. We thought it.
We thought it big time.
The only contemporary artists she's listening to at this point are Paramore and Ingrid Michaelson. What a pair. What a pair.
There's one diva and one, but y'all cast Ingrid Michaelson.
But y'all cast Ingrid Michaelson, for real. Up next in Indiana, we have "He'd Look Just Like You'd Want Him To," some kind of slick chrome American Prince. Again, how did we get that on our arm?
She's a genius. And I've said it before.
The space? Where was the space? So, to be fair, she's a lanky girl. She's got a lot of room to work with.
She does have longer arms than, I think, even you do. She definitely has longer arms than me.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
Even she might have even longer arms. Oh, absolutely. Because
she's a long-armed queen.
Notoriously, you have Tyrannosaurus Rex arms. Many people are saying this.
So true.
Man, so true.
This is a Killers song, a Dustland fairy tale. This song is a story from the 60s. That's how it's framed. And we know that was a period of time she was very interested in. She was approaching her Kennedy era. Does Jake Gyllenhaal look like a slick chrome American Prince? I think he kind of does.
I think he does, for sure. American Prince, I think, lest we forget, there was a time where he was a very sought-after actor. And this was
Joe Jonas doesn't look like a slick chrome American Prince. I can tell you that for free. John Mayer doesn't. Taylor Lautner doesn't. But Jake Gyllenhaal does.
Jake Gyllenhaal is definitely an American Prince.
So mystery solved. Treacherous about Jake Gyllenhaal. Thank you. Case closed. Up next in Ohio, we have "Don't Know Why I'm Still Afraid. If You Weren't Real, I Would Make You Up." This is by Joseph Arthur, Honey and the Moon. Another random song. It sounds like a Passenger song to me, but this song also has a lot of blue. Everything is turning blue. It's about kind of a missed connection, right person, wrong time, etc. She's doubling back.
Another great lyric also, like, I heard the song and I got nothing out of it, but I was like, that is a beautiful lyric out of context. She's good.
It
Again,
is.
like you said at the top of the episode, she's just a genius. She's a curator. People don't know this. She curates.
She is. And also this was in her most, I would say, her most writerly period of her life. She was just off of recording and releasing an entirely self-written writer girl. Use your words. She was using them. And she was using other people's words too.
Not just anybody.
You see how that works?
You see how that works.
Up next in Washington, D.C., we had, I guess, to build yourself up so high, you had to take her and break her down. Keith Urban's Stupid Boy. It kills me how clear it is that her mental state is, we're so back, we're so over. It's, if I didn't know you were real, I would have dreamed you. Then it's, you killed me. You murdered me. You were my American prince and you're so gorgeous. And now you stab me in the eye and call me a piece of shit garbator.
And that was her life. And that was the Speak Now tour. Case closed.
That's my life. That's my prize.
That's my life. No. I'm taking out my earrings.
This song is weird. It's like classic male feminist fare. Like, you're a piece of shit for being mean to my gorgeous, precious girl. True, I guess. True. And then we have the first arm lyric that is not an arm lyric. It's just a quote. And it's a Bobby Kennedy quote in DC. And the quote is, I dream of things that never were and ask why not. What does that have to do with anything?
She took it to Capitol Hill.
She
literally took it to Capitol Hill.
She took it to Capitol Hill. And this is why we need more documentation of her thoughts and feelings, because this has sent me into a different dimension. It's not even a particularly interesting or good quote. It's like, if you Googled a Bobby Kennedy quote, I'm sure this is the first thing that comes up. Yeah. But she was reading her 600-page book about the Kennedys and she was feeling inspired. And when you look at her listening habits this year, it actually makes a lot of sense why she got obsessed with like an American dynasty like that, because she was into Americana. Like, there's a lot of like classic like folk and Americana music going on here.
Yeah, definitely. And 2011, it was just a different time. You know, you could do
different.
You could do things like become obsessed with the Kennedys, and people didn't think it was that strange.
So then she goes to Philadelphia, and the lyric is from Elton John's song Philadelphia Freedom, because I live and breathe this Philadelphia freedom. I think
many people are saying that right now.
We understood it.
Many people are saying
it. Then we have the following day, I think, or a couple days later, in Chicago, and up in the air they would write your name, but love would fall to pieces in this rain. Patty Griffin from a song called Christina. This song is an anthem for those who have been gaslit and betrayed. Another lyric from this song is, if you had the real thing, how would you tell? Liars can say it all just as well. It was rare. I was
there. I remember it.
Period.
Down the stairs, you were there.
Exactly. We had been needing that. And again, we're so back, we're so over, we're so back, we're so over. Up next, August 10th in Chicago again. If you want to be somebody else, change your mind. Sister Hazel, change your mind. This song is like a really gentle reality check. The lyrics are, if you're tired of fighting battles with yourself, baby, just change your mind. The refusal to go to therapy allegations persist.
I just think I'm very sane. Okay.
Just solve it yourself. Bootstrap it. Taylor's entire message to herself is bootstrap it. And it works for her. It works for her. Clearly it does.
It does.
Then we have, unfortunately, in Missouri, a Ryan Adams lyric. I got a good heart. I just can't catch a break. This thought is harrowing coming from Ryan Adams, because that's exactly what a manipulative narcissist would say. And I know that that's you. But as a Taylor Arm lyric, I love to hear it. And so true.
Taylor, she can do no wrong.
She has never, ever done anything wrong in her life. And it's important that everyone knows that.
Especially not at this point.
Oh, she was perfect.
She was perfect. She was perfect.
She never did anything wrong. And that is kind of the thesis of her early career. I am perfect and everyone is bad and breaks my heart. Poor me. Exactly.
And she was right.
No, exactly.
And that was literally
She's
true.
Correct.
Why is it her fault? Pretty girl, let's hate on her, as usual.
Pretty girl, let's break up with her. Pretty girl, let's traumatize her. Pretty girl, let's ruin her life. I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's fair. Up next in Missouri, we had, and the hardest part was letting go, not taking part, Coldplay. So we're back. We're so over again. It's I Almost Do Again. Finally, we have some music made in the 21st century. We love that. Love is so short, forgetting is so long. We knew that. This diva was stuck mentally and emotionally, and she's just proving it to us. Up next, we have find the grace in the things you can't change and help somebody if you can. We're veering into the climb territory. Van Zandt, help somebody. Who is that? Do you know who this is?
It's honestly none of my business.
It's nothing and no one. It's nothing and no one.
Well, wait until you read the comments and the capes start coming out.
Oh. The band is the best band ever created. Then we have another Matt Kearney song, Hey Brother, We're All Learning to Love Again. Okay? So
it reminds me of that Avicii song.
Yeah. Hey brother.
Hey brother.
We know that she starts hanging out with Will from Parachute by the end of 2011. So I'm wondering if at this point she is kind of starting to emerge from the real depths of the heartbreak and is keeping her eyes out for a new Selena.
I gotta keep my eye out for a new Selena.
You have to. If you don't, it's at your own peril. It's at your own risk if you don't keep your eye out for Selena. Up next, Don't Worry, Baby. Everything will turn out all right. The Beach Boys, Don't Worry, Baby. She was a hopeful girl.
Well, it doesn't get much more
a hopeful girl.
Up and hopeful than the Beach Boys. I'll tell you that for free.
She was really doing it for her.
She was doing it for her.
All right, Madeline, take it away.
Now
it's up to your part.
Now it's into the second half of the tour. And it's funny because I picked the second half because I thought it would be less interesting, but Zach said it was more interesting. I actually think they're part and parcel. I think they're actually both pretty interesting, but there's some interesting nuggets in mine as well. So first, right off the bat, she's in California. She says, but my heart cried out for you, California. That is from California by Joni Mitchell. Well, she was in Los Angeles. She was in California. If she's going to sing, good luck. If she's going to sing, good luck. It's worth it.
She might have the cheekbones, but she doesn't have the voice.
She might have the cheekbones. So 4 out of the 5 Joni Mitchell songs she sang on the second half of the tour are from the Blue record. I'm just saying. You don't find that interesting? I find it
That's
fascinating.
Something really interesting to know and to understand.
Yeah.
And for her to sing a Joni Mitchell song is a brave thing for her to do. It really is.
It's very brave. Had if she's going to sing Good Luck happened yet? I don't think it had it?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
This was the first Tay Mitchell interaction. It was only after Red came out. And do you remember when she was doing her boho chic and the talk of the biopic came up? That was when it started. Poor Taylor. I think it actually may have started even in Australia because when she got the bangs and she was doing her Vogue cover, I remember being around then that the Joni Mitchell rumors started, but don't quote me.
If she's going to sing, good luck. I mean, that's all there is to it. That is all there is to it. So next on August 27th, 2011, Love Actually Is All Around. This is a song by the Trogs. It's from Love Is All Around, and it's a reference to, at the time, her all-time favorite movie, Love Actually. Worst movie ever made. Have you guys seen this piece of slop?
Okay, you shut your mouth right there. You be quiet,
Since when
Tiffany.
are you a Love Actually caper?
It is my family Christmas movie that I watch with my family.
Kidding.
It
you
is.
Watch
I'm
Snape
not kidding.
Cheat. You on Christmas?
I watched Natasha Richardson give a compelling performance of a heartbroken woman, and I watched Hugh Grant be sexy.
Is Hugh Grant the one that fat shames the girl who's not fat?
He's the prime minister.
It's the worst movie I've ever seen.
Well,
it's cinema to some, to others. Well, what can I say? It was for a long time Taylor's favorite movie. I wonder what her favorite movie would be today, but we're not allowed to know things like that.
She won't tell us.
She won't tell us.
It's the Barbie movie.
It's the Barbie movie. More likely than you think.
Mm-hmm.
So up next, again, we are still in Los Angeles. This was August 28th, 2011.
She's a Barb.
I wish that I could have this moment for life.
She's a Barb.
By
I'm
Nicki
Barb.
Minaj.
We're Barbs.
So a little bit of context on this is that in February of this year, the Nicki Taylor quasi friendship, mutual respect began. Many people forget that Selena Gomez was actually a part of this whole super bass phenomenon thing as well, because it just kind of got swept under the rug and all the other nonsense. But what had happened was Taylor talked about loving super bass on a radio show she was doing, and she told them she can recite every single lyric from super bass. And I don't know why she said that, because the DJ was immediately like, do it. And she was like, I don't want to. And he was like, just do it. Close your eyes. Just do it. And so she did it, and it was humiliating. I actually couldn't watch it.
She shouldn't have done that.
When I looked it up to do this,
that was the
like,
people pleaser in her. That was someone asked me to do it, so I have to do it, and she shouldn't have done it.
And the rest is history. Selena Gomez also, like the month before, posted a video of herself covering Super Bass by Nicki Minaj, and then Nicki would go on to say, like, wow, they're so cute. And then in the future, Nicki Minaj gave Taylor a lot of credit for, quote unquote, making Super Bass hot, because the song took off like right after this. Frankly, Super Bass is just like one of the most iconic pop rap songs of all time. I don't know if I mean, she helped, I'll say that, but I always thought it was so generous of Nikki to be like, you did this, and also kind of like out of character for somebody who even back then was pretty like, you know, I do everything on my own, I'm the diva.
Mhm.
So, I mean, quasi-friendship, mutual respect, etc.,
Tay Nikki,
etc.
we love to see it.
So she also brought Nicki Minaj out to perform Super Bass with her.
As she should.
As she should have. What else are you going to do? I wish I could
that
have
was
this
cute,
moment for
actually.
life.
It was kind of cute.
Great. It was great. The Speak Now special guest, because it wasn't like every night, and welcome to the stage. You know, it was a lot better than the 1989 special guest, because it was like every now and then you got one and it would gag. And it would be like Nicki Minaj.
The annoying thing about the Speak Now one is that the technology we had back then wasn't so good. So we have no good recordings of any of these performances. Like, there's one good video of Selena and Taylor doing Who Says, and you can't even really hear them because everyone's screaming so loud. I would pay maybe $1,000 for a high quality recording of them doing that together.
Not $1,000 for the Who Says.
$1,000. It would be everything to me.
That? We need to find out who said that. It would be
everything to me. If someone has it, $1,000 is yours.
$1,000? Come through. So up next, we're still in California, but we're in San Jose. This is on September 1st, 2011. This is Gwen Stefani. After all that we've been through, I know we're cool.
This was iconic.
This was really iconic. And this was the beginning of a genuinely crazy series of ARM lyrics. I would assume everybody knows Cool by Gwen Stefani, but if you don't, it's essentially the Gwen Stefani version of Holy Ground. It literally is. It's literally, if Holy Ground was made by Gwen Stefani, it would be Cool by Gwen Stefani. It actually got a music video, arguably one of Gwen Stefani's best music videos. It's like really a beautifully shot. She looks, it's like a movie. The iconic, like old Hollywood style Gwen Stefani look. She looks gorgina. Everything about it is amazing. This is when people used to make music videos.
Mm-hmm.
This is when they used to make cinema.
That's not
Fortnite. Like that anymore. But Cool is a song about an ex-boyfriend, and it's about like encountering them again. And for the first time, you're able to be like friendly, if not even friends, because after all that we've been through, I know we're cool.
This is another song that can bring a tear to my eye.
And the story's got dust on every page. The story has dust on every page. Now, the tea about this, the crazy tea about this, is that there was a certain somebody in the audience that night, and that person is named Joseph Jonas. Yes, she said,
sitting in front of the B stage.
We've been through.
Front
I know
row.
We're cool. Front stage
row
of the B
the
stage.
Spinning tree.
Do you know what happened at the B stage? She sings Last Kiss, and you should look this up. Or maybe Tyler can put it in. If you look this up, it's like a video of girls who know that Joe Jonas is literally like 10 feet away from them, and they're filming Last Kiss, filming Joe Jonas, filming Last Kiss,
and they deserve a Purple Heart medal. They deserve the Medal of Freedom.
We needed that. We absolutely needed that.
And they did that for us.
And it changed everything.
Mm-hmm.
It changed the fabric of our universe. That was a
world stop. That was really a world stop.
This is probably like one of the most iconic moments from the Speak Now tour. And this is when I knew we were dealing with a different kind of lady. This is when I said, oh, there's nothing she won't do. This isn't the girl
that would not lay her armor down. She's laying it down.
No,
she's moving
laying it down.
On? Question mark?
Could it be?
And she was. And she was. For now. And she circled back.
The next thing you know, so we go from Cool by Gwen Stefani immediately into, again on San Jose, September 2nd, For What It's Worth, It Was Worth All the While. And that, of course, is from Good Riddance by Green Day. So this is more Joe Jonas Psychosis. This is more I moved on. I do, for the record, totally believe that she had moved on. I don't think it's psychosis, but it's just like she's really hammering it home. Absolutely,
she wants the
100%.
Fans to stop making man-ups of them together. Right. That's what she wanted us to do. She was like, knock it off. Knock it off.
And Good Riddance is such a good song to reference. Good Riddance is one of those songs that is quite literally weddings, graduations, funerals. That's not a joke.
Oh, yeah.
It's literally played at weddings. It's literally played at graduations. It's literally played at funerals. It is the web that connects them all. It's a good, beautiful song.
Meanwhile, she is still, after, proselytizing to us about how she's over it and fixed and healed, she's doing Better Than Revenge every single night. She's still attacking. Joe Jonas got pardoned. Camila Bell did not get pardoned. It was the man gets away with it, the girlie's got to pay. And you know what? Maybe she was calling off the hounds. Maybe she felt bad that Joe Jonas's career was in a slow decline and that her fans were attacking him every day. Maybe she felt bad.
Maybe she felt bad. Maybe she didn't. We don't know.
She doesn't now. She doesn't now.
Nonetheless, this goes hand in hand with the sentiment of her previous arm lyric for Joe Jonas about I know we're cool. Honestly, they almost go right from one into another, kind of like a narrative, and then we go into a third one. A third one that is literally just the same sentiment. It's from The Chicks. It's a song called Favorite Year. And it's on the 3rd of September in San Jose. And she says, tell me everything you want to hear. Like that was your favorite year.
That makes me sad.
Yeah.
This makes me... Well, this is Last Kiss tea.
This is... You see how that works? These are Easter eggs. You don't get this kind of stuff anymore. So this song... It's about a breakup and a relationship ending, and it's very reflective on how great the relationship was, but we're never going to get back together, but we were something, don't you think so?
I do think so.
We were something, don't you think so? So again, I think this goes right along with the other two. It was literally 3 straight days of, I'm healing. SOS.
And sometimes that works. Sometimes it works. It worked in this scenario.
Yeah, well, I guess we fell apart in the usual way, and the story's got dust on every page, but sometimes I wonder how you think about it now.
I see your face in every crowd. Are you hearing this?
Specifically that one.
They're not hearing it.
They're not hearing it. Okay, so on September 6th, we go to Portland, Oregon, and she's doing another Selena Gomez moment. This is interesting, especially coming hot off the heels of Joe Jonas, I'm Healed. She says, you're just somewhere that I've been, and I won't go back again. This is from Ghost of You by Selena Gomez.
I've never heard that song. Never.
Oh my God, I loved this song. This was like one of my favorite Selena Gomez songs back in the day. Selena Gomez and The Scene, mind you. Selena Gomez and The Scene. So this is a tonal shift. I don't think this is related to Joe Jonas, because just days earlier she was saying we were something, don't you think so? I don't want to dance if I'm not dancing with you. So I don't think that this is about Joe, but it does feel pointed. And again, this is one of my favorite Selena Gomez songs, or was. I haven't heard it in a very long time, but I know that this is not like a fun little song. It's quite a pointed song. And honestly, I I googled Selena Gomez and Justin Bieber at like this time period to see what was going on, to feel like maybe she was just referencing Selena Justin messiness like in code, but she wasn't, because Justin Bieber was renting out the Rose Bowl in Pasadena just so he could watch Titanic with Selena Gomez. So that was all
that is
above
crazy board to me.
Well, and then they like wonder why she was down bad.
Well,
when you've got Justin Bieber Trump checks, you're watching the Titanic.
Well, Taylor was also, fun fact, writing a song with Justin Bieber around this point, which has since come out as a leak, and it is one of the worst songs ever written.
Cannonball.
It's called Cannonball. It's terrible. And he also opened for her briefly on this tour too.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
In his boot.
Oh yeah, he broke his leg.
She did Baby with him. I think he came out and did a performance with her.
Baby, oh,
we can't deny that song. I won't deny it.
Baby.
I won't
deny it. It's a classic. It's a cult classic. So I think that this is a reference to Jake Gyllenhaal. That's what that whole buildup was about. That's what I was just talking about. And this is kind of going part and parcel with what I'm about to talk about. On September 7th, the next day in Tacoma, Washington, she puts a Band of Horses lyric on her arm. You are the ever-living ghost of what once was. That is from No One's Gonna Love You. Now, that... the thing about Band of Horses is that seems like something Jake Gyllenhaal would have been into, a kind of Temp Trap sort of 2010, 2011, 2012 indie Tumblr sort of a moment.
Indie record that's much cooler than mine.
And maybe so. This is a great song. And maybe so. This is a great song. So I think that those are the Jake Gyllenhaal teas. We're just kind of getting into the nitty gritty here. So,
and there's also kind of seismic happenings going on in the life and times of Taylor's creative process. So we know that she's been writing a bunch of songs for Red, and they're all kind of country songs. They're not songs that really have broached the Max Martin of it all yet. So on September 8th, 2011, this is the day after this, she writes in her diary, "It was a long flight, but I'm so happy I chose to come home, mostly because I wrote a song on the plane on the way home called Red. In the evening, I went to Nathan's studio to record. When I played Red for him, he lost it. He freaked out over the lyrics. I was so happy, and we started recording it. It got more and more awesome with banjo and this affected vocal part that runs under the chorus going red. I'd love to name the next album Red. Scott came over because I called him Boo and he was still working at the office. He said this song takes it to the next level. He lost it over this song. My mom loves it too." Those are like the three sounding boards in her life at that point. Nathan Chapman, mom, and Scott Borchetta. Tick, tick, tick. I've made a good song.
Yeah.
It's so different than anything we've done. I can't even tell you how alive and worthwhile I feel when I'm writing a new song and I finish it and people like it. It's the most fulfilling feeling, like getting an A+ on a report card. Recording again.
I don't have time to psychoanalyze
I can't get into that last
I
part
don't
of
have
it.
time to psychoanalyze
can't.
that. I don't.
The last
have
part
time
I
for
can't.
that. No, it's listen. All we need to know is that Red was being cooked in that oven. The dough was beginning to rise, and the pizza was forming.
The vision was
the
becoming
red
clear.
pizza was literally, the cheese was melting, etc., etc. So on that note, on September 10th, 2011. She puts, "There was always something that meant more to you than me" by Jessica Andrews. That is a song called "There's More to Me Than You." So this song, even just this lyric alone, has such, "I bet you think about me and we are never ever getting back together" implications. There was always something that you understood more than I understood it. You're always listening to these indie records that are much cooler than mine. Even that line that she has in "I Bet You Think About Me" about the book that just saved them and like all these important conversations that people are having, and she's just like, "Hi, I'm 19, I'm 20.
I want to have fun."
So this is a very like country, CUNTRY type of girl power, men ain't shit, you're not gonna keep me down, you're gonna hear me roar type of a song. And it's incredible. And I think we should clap and cheer. Jake Gyllenhaal, you're nothing, and we knew that.
We've been knowing
Any
that.
questions? Any questions?
No. The class
Up next, it was September 11th, 2011. And she said, "Where were you when the world stopped turning?" Alan Jackson. In Canada.
Taylor
in
loves
Vancouver,
9/11.
Canada.
She seriously loves 9/11. I mean, she wrote "Didn't They?" her 9/11 song at the VMA. She said, "Of course, before we do anything, we have to never forget." And she's never forgetting, even when she's in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. She's not forgetting.
No. Where were you when the world stopped turning? Where were you?
Where were you?
We know where Taylor was. She was writing "Didn't They?" So not much to mind there. Next up, on September 16th, she was in Tennessee. She's back in Nashville. And she said, "Be a best friend. Tell the truth. Overuse I love you." That is from a song called "Love Like Crazy" by Lee Brice. This is "Live, Laugh, Love" in another font. It's also the worst song I've ever heard. You guys ever heard this? I played it.
I've never heard it.
And I said, "No, thank you."
We have a playlist of all the songs, by the way, which we will link so you can listen and hear how bad these songs were. Riddle me this, Madeline. Did she ever put "Going Back to Nashville," thinking about the whole thing, on her arm? I don't think she did.
No,
that's
she
sick.
Didn't. And yet she screamed it at the top of her lungs in a way that sent chills up and down my spine.
I need to hear it again.
Why
and forever and
streaming?
Always.
Put on streaming now or suffer the consequences.
He should have given her the song the way that the Untouchable writers gave her the song. He should have been like, you did this in a way that I could never have even imagined.
You know, I would actually really love a covers album from Taylor. I don't normally say stuff like that.
Speak of.
Well, indeed. But I don't think, normally I don't like it from other artists, but I think from Taylor I would really enjoy that. And I would love specifically a recorded version of "Nashville" sung by Taylor Swift.
Please.
That would put me in my tomb because that song is incredible. Nonetheless, kind of a disappointing lyric for Nashville, kind of a waste of time.
Yep.
But then she gathers herself up on Nashville Night 2. She does a Martina McBride moment.
Good.
And she said, "This one's for the girls who love without holding back. This one is for the girls." And she was. This is her. This one is literally for Taylor, who loves without holding back. This is for her. And I like that this one. Yeah, I like that this one comes hot off the heels of all these references to former flames and, you know, how hurt she's been in the past. But she still is like super proud of the fact that she's a lover girl. She's always going to be a lover girl. She's never going to stop being a girl. She loves without holding back, even though she knows it's going to hurt. And if I get burned, at least we were electrified.
I can't.
She was going fresh out the slammer with Maddie Healy. She had to know
really
that was going to go
was.
south.
Mhm.
She didn't care. She said,
No.
who knows? Maybe it's LOML. Maybe it is.
Because we're crazy.
But not the way that you think, Taylor.
Mm-mm.
Not the way that you think.
Queenie.
All right, so up next on September 20th, 2011, Love, Save the Empty, and Save Me. This is Erin McCarley's Love, Save the Empty. Lover Girl. Love, Save the Empty, and Save Me. She said, Selena,
I'm looking. I'm looking.
I can't find her.
Eyes wide open.
I can't find her. Up next on September 21st, 2011, we have The Flaming Lips. Do you realize? Do you realize that you have the most beautiful face? This was in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Who knows who she wanted to kiss? Could have been anybody. Could have been absolutely anybody. She was not going to meet Harry Styles for another several months at this point. And this was during the time period where, honestly, if she looked at a man, people were speculating that she was dating them. I'm talking about Corey Monteith. I'm talking
Will
about
from Parachute was right around the corner, though. Right around the corner.
Well, Selena showed up eventually. Thank God.
Selena came. When you keep an eye out for her, she appears.
Thank God. Up next, September 24th, 2011. I hope you know that even if I don't, I wanted to. That is by Rachel Yamagata, Even If I Don't. Heard
Every
of it?
time
That sounds familiar.
don't,
I almost do 101. That is I Almost Do 101. Ladies and gentlemen. It was I Almost Do tease from here to yesterday.
I Almost Do is a really central song to Red. Like, especially when I'm going through this now, like thematically, and like the emotion of that song really drives through a lot of the songs on Red.
Well, and she's very underrated. People don't talk about her. She's like one of the forgotten girls.
I agree. And the Taylor's version is actually very good.
Oh, I haven't spun that in a long time.
You
Did
should.
I ever listen to I Almost Do Taylor's version? I can't remember.
You should. It's good.
Red TV, in my defense, was really, really big. And it was
bad.
like there was a lot going on.
Don't forget
so
that.
I started kind of skipping around. I'll tell you the truth.
I understand.
Okay. Nonetheless, on September 27th, 2011, Coldplay, Paradise. But it flew away from her reach so she ran away in her sleep and dreamed of paradise. Okay, great.
Sounds much better out of context than it does in the song, I'll tell you that.
Oh, I hate statement.
That is such a 2011
really
song.
Do not like that Paradise song. That's when Coldplay started to lose the plot, in my opinion. No
And
offense
it's
to the
been lost
Coldplay
ever
capers.
since.
No offense to the capers out there. I love early Coldplay, but not for me. Everything past 2010, I don't want to talk about that. So on to September 28th, 2011. Jimmy Eat World. Does anybody know this band? Taylor does. So this is The Middle by Jimmy Eat World. Little girl, you're in the middle of the ride. And you know what I love about that? Is that she literally was.
She was.
Write that down.
She was rocking harder than anyone
Jimmy
alive. Second only to Avril Lavigne. She was rocking harder.
Period. And I feel like this is something that came up a lot when we were talking about Speak Now, Taylor's version, because of the implications that she brought Paramore in. She regrettably brought Fall Out Boy in and desecrated what could have been a wonderful moment of two bands coming together.
That was wrong.
It was really
wrong.
bad. And I will never forgive them, both of them, and what they did, because I will never, I don't even want to talk about that. But the pop punk implications of Speak Now were very much implicated. And Jimmy Eat World is there as proof.
There they are.
Any other questions?
None from me.
Any other questions? Okay, so on October 1st, Zac Brown Band, Free. Just as free as we'll ever be. And all I had to say about this is that I feel the exact same way on October 1st. October 1st, you see this?
You become a different woman.
I do. I do.
Ascend into your final form.
So I actually retired this t-shirt. This t-shirt has been retired since like November 1st. I was like, I can't wear my Goosebumps t-shirts anymore. It's over. But it's the only thing that's like this true purple that I own. So I was like, whoo, I get to wear my Goosebumps shirt. You see how
and
that
talk
works?
about October. I mean, what kind of day?
You see how that works?
What a day.
Okay, so up next, October 2nd, 2011, T.I. shows up, and on her arm she puts, no telling where it will take you, just live your life. Oh, yes. So live your life. Hey.
Period.
Where's T.I.? Where is he? Does anybody know? He's one of those people that just went, boop.
I just remember when Azalea Banks was going on a rant and she said T.I. and his wife who can't read.
Wait, his wife can't read?
I think she was just trying to drag her, but that's my last memory of encountering T.I.
it's not right. when he gave us hit after hit, and she's got something to say. Okay.
It's nice to hear she's turning on pop radio. It's nice to hear that.
It's very nice to hear that she's turning on pop radio. Thank God for that. Now, this is a moment where everything starts to change. So I have an interlude here. So on October 4th, 2011, and we know this because of Twitter. I was curious too, like, how do they know the exact date? It's because she tweeted. Do you see how that works?
She
this
doesn't
is back when
do
we
that
could connect dots. She tweeted something. So we know that Taylor wrote Sad, Beautiful, Tragic on her ukulele while on her tour bus, while reminiscing about a relationship, they say. Ooh, gee, I wonder who that's. I wonder whose relationship that was. But on October 4th, 2011, she tweeted, leaving Little Rock, headed to New Orleans, writing a song on a moving bus.
And you heard it.
And you heard it here first. So then, in a Billboard interview about Red, she said, Sad, Beautiful, Tragic is really close to my heart. I remember it was after a show and I was on the bus, thinking about this relationship that ended months and months before. The feeling wasn't sadness and anger or those things anymore. It was wistful loss. And so I just got my guitar and I hit on the fact that I was thinking in terms of rhyming. I rhymed magic with tragic, changed a few things, and ended it with what a sad, beautiful, tragic love affair. I wanted to tell the story in terms of a cloudy recollection of what went wrong. It was kind of the murky gray, looking back on something you can't change or get back.
And you've never done anything like it since, my diva.
Imagine if we could have the exact date of when she wrote like all the songs that Torture Poets.
I was just thinking that because we actually have a really clear timeline for most of her earlier works, but for things like Tortured Poets and Midnights, it's like the timeline is completely unclear. And then when you find out that a song like You're Losing Me was written at the point that it was written in, it changes everything, which is why we need to be knowing more. Jack Antonoff, open that mouth.
She should be letting us back into Twitter.
Truth serum.
This is why she should be on social media. Of course, I'm kidding. Mm-hmm. I'm joking around. I'm not going to make her.
It's not safe out there anymore.
It's not safe. It's really not.
But
we
miss these days.
That's all we're saying. Yeah. So nonetheless, on October 4th, she was in Little Rock, Arkansas, as we know, and her arm lyric before she wrote Sad, Beautiful, Tragic was from a KT Tunstall song. It's easy saying nothing when there's nothing to say. Words, how little they mean when you're a little too late.
Silence.
Ever heard of that?
Train runs off its tracks.
And what's really interesting about Taylor, and you can see it so clearly with these arm lyrics, is like, you can tell that was inspired by that lyric, but it's a completely different thing, and it's a completely different lyric when Taylor does it. Same sentiment, said completely differently.
Yep.
And it's like, she can take inspiration and make things completely her own. And I think it's a talent. Not everybody has it.
Because she's the writer. She's the writer girl who uses her words and other people's words.
So then next up on October 5th, 2011, she put a lyric from Sonny Came Home by Sean Colvin onto her arm. Remember that this is fresh, hot off the heels of her writing Sad, Beautiful, Tragic merely the night before. The lyric is, she's out there on her own and she's all right. Sonny Came Home by Sean Colvin is one of those really demented songs that sounds like it's really happy, and it's because Sonny, the person's name is Sonny, but it's actually about a woman who burns her house down, like absconds with her children, and it's never said explicitly in the song, but I've always taken it to mean the husband is still inside when she lights the match.
He should be.
Well, dry is good.
Sounds
and wind
like he
is better.
deserves it.
Dry is good and wind is better. But I'm saying yes. Well, let's kill him. I don't see why not at this point.
At this point, after all he's put her through.
Does this mean anything beyond Taylor being young when this song was the #1 song in the world and loving female singer-songwriters? You tell me. Maybe she was feeling something kind of different that night. We don't know. Sonny
she was listening
home.
to the Dixie Chicks talking about, I'm going to kill my man. So it's not out of the realm of possibility.
It's not out of the realm of possibility. So on October 8th, 2011, a little voice in my head said, don't look back. You can never look back. That is from the Boys of Summer. That is a classic
She
song.
needed to hear that message.
She
Don't
needed
look back
to hear this message. She's talking about burning the house to the ground. She's talking about moving on. I mean, hello.
What can we say?
Put two and two together. Put two and two together.
And meanwhile, the single that she's got out at that time is Ours. Damn.
This is
when you have to get up on stage and be doing the stakes are high, the water's love, this love is ours. After this, I want to kill you and burn your house down.
That's not going to work for me.
The duality of a woman.
The duality of a woman. So on October 11th, 2011, Death Cab for Cutie lyric. She does, through autumn's advancing, we'll stay young and go dancing. I get it. It was autumn. Death Cab for Cutie. It's 2011. This is one of the worst Death Cab for Cutie songs on the face of the planet. I don't even think this is a good lyric. I don't get it. Next. Nothing to mine. Although if you think about it, there is something.
There's nothing to mine. But
if you think about it,
if you get your tin hat,
you can always start mathing, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. What is Red? What is Red, the album? But this
the colors in autumn, so
through
bright.
Autumn's advancing, we'll stay young and go dancing. Tonight I'm going to dance for all that we've been through.
I don't want. See,
There's
she wishes
always something.
She wishes that autumn would advance and that she would stay young and go dance, but it was
time won't fly.
The autumn
it's
is
like
advancing exactly. Period.
You see how that happens.
You see how it all works.
Incidentally, this is also like right around when Wonderstruck was launching. I think October 13th, she was doing a Wonderstruck press tour.
Greatest perfume ever made. Greatest perfume ever made.
So around this time, I was buying my first bottle of Wonderstruck. Greatest day of my life.
And feeling Wonderstruck all the way home.
I was feeling Wonderstruck all the way home. Up next, in Lubbock, Texas, on October 14th, 2011, Jimmy Eat World. Heard of it? This is a song called For Me, This Is Heaven, and the lyric is, can you still feel the butterflies? Can you still hear the last good night? She said Jimmy Eat World, greatest band ever. But also there's something interesting about this. Can you still hear the last good night? Can you? I remember it all too well. Can you?
Do you remember it? It was rare. I was there.
Remember it all. Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you, Jimmy.
You ate that world.
You ate that world. On October 15th, 2011, I hope to God I would have done something good with my life. This is a song by Ronnie Milsap. It sounds like a sim name. And the song is called My Life. This was in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Now, I think there's a little bit of nothing new implication happening there. It's a little bit early because I have later on. I know about when she wrote Nothing New, but it's like a month after this, and it's like, well, she was cooking it. It was in the oven.
But we know also that the album had just radically started to change shape, and she was debating whether or not to bring in Max Martin at this point. So we know that she was feeling a bit unsteady with where her career was going to go. So, when you're feeling unsure of yourself, you start to question, what is it all for?
And then you turn to Ronnie Milsap. And that's exactly when you turn on Ronnie Milsap. Thank you, Ronnie, for your service. Sim King. Up next, October 20th, 2011. MGMT Kids. Memories fade like 2011. Memories fade like looking through a fog mirror.
MGMT.
And she was right.
She was right.
She was right.
It's so
true. They tell you while you're young, girls go out and have your fun. MGMT Kids. I mean, there's evidence here. And this is a really good lyric, actually. When I listen to Kids by MGMT, I can't understand.
I'm not listening to the lyrics.
I'm not understanding it. But iconic, and we thank you for your service as usual. Memories fade like looking through a fogged mirror.
You're right.
Exactly. I mean, that could be a Joni Mitchell lyric, honestly.
It could. It could also be a Taylor Swift Red lyric.
It could. Up next, guess who it is? You're never going to guess. Jimmy eating the world once more.
He won't stop. He's insatiable.
Hear You Me. Now, everybody knows Hear You Me because it was in the Hilary Duff and Chad Montgomery movie, Another Cinderella Story. No, not another. A Cinderella Story. Excuse me.
Best movie ever made.
It's like an ultimate comfort movie. If I'm having a really horrendous week, I'm like, I need it. Hilary Duff, take me away. There's something
so comforting about her bland affect.
I love it. I love her. And I love Chad Montgomery. Oh, it's the best movie ever
Anywhere
made.
But Here. Great. My friend, sorry, it's a really random short sidebar. My friend thought that Princeton was a made up university for a Cinderella story.
I understand her. Absolutely, because it does seem like it should be.
She was like, "This isn't a real place." I was like, "It's real,
girl." But that was in Singapore, I would assume. She
yes,
doesn't need to know that.
No.
She doesn't need to know that. So, Jimmy Eat World, May Angels Lead You In. Hear You Me, my friends. And this is the night when Jim Adkins, yes, that Jimmy Adkins came out to play the middle with her.
The one who ate the world.
Iconery, seldom seen. before. Again, Speak Now, pop punk tees. I want to know. It's so funny that all of these bands and like specifically the men like came out on the Speak Now tour to do these random songs with her. It's like I want to see Jimmy Eat World on stage now. Like now I would have been like really going crazy for this. Back then I didn't even know what to think.
Well, back then it was like, when's Selena coming back? Like, when's she gonna come back and do Love
Let's
You Like
say
a
the
Love
truth.
Song?
I don't
That's
think
what
people
we were
were interested
wondering.
in these like, and I don't know if the girls out there were. I mean, everybody knows The Middle by Jimmy Eat World, and that's what they played. Everybody knows that song. So
Well,
I'm
was
sure
the
they were
Red Tour
clapping.
crowd jumping for Carly Simon? I mean, she's always been kind of random with her
I was.
choices.
I
was moving.
was. Okay, so up next, October 25th, 2011. Where love is just a lyric in a children's rhyme, a soundbite. This is from Is It Any Wonder by Keen. Deeply 2011, and many such cases. Everybody knows Keen. You know that song? The simple thing, where have you gone?
We all know this. We
I'm
all
getting
know this
tired.
song.
Everybody knows that song. This is another one of their songs. So I listened to it. Of course I did. And I went digging for more information. And here's some more lyrics from the song. Is it any wonder I'm tired? Is it any wonder I'm so uptight? Is it any wonder I don't know what's right? Sometimes it's hard to know where I stand. It's hard to know where I am. How can a person know everything at 18 and nothing at 22?
I'm asking.
I'm asking you. Then, additionally in the song, sometimes I get the feeling I'm stranded in the wrong time, where love is just a lyric in a children's rhyme. So that's the full lyric. She couldn't fit it on the arm. So she had to do just the half of it.
She finally found a sentence that would not fit on the link.
So what I got out of this was that we always think about Red as being her true coming of age record and her going from being a girl to being a woman. But thinking of it that way, it means that Speak Now is her last album where she's truly a girl. But it's also about the precarious time when you realize it's all going away. Like, you know, it's happening.
Like she started writing her coming of age album a little bit too soon is what Speak Now is. It's like there was a deadline in the middle of your evolution and you had to cut it off and go on tour and tour this record, and then that made you do a forced stop and reset a project. It's interesting how like these seemingly arbitrary like delineations of time, like every 2 years you do an album. Obviously as a human being you don't evolve in 2-year cycles, but for a period of time it seems like Taylor really learned to do that. It's like a psychological thing. She knew that like, okay, I'm starting this new era, I have this new like theming, I have this new messaging. In 2 years it must be in the back of her mind, I have to change again.
Yeah, always. And like how exhausting that must be.
And as you're growing up, I think it feels more natural. Like I think from debut until probably 1989, she wasn't being super, super conscious of the exact way that she was evolving. It became much more like calculated, for lack of a better word, after that. But the Speak Now to Red evolution felt like the most natural and well executed of them all.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Period.
Where I lost my place. Up next on October 26, 2011, and I never saw blue like that before, across the sky, across the world. So this is another Sean Colvin song, and Sean Colvin came out this night to sing with her. But I mean, hello. Hello. And I never saw blue like
Losing
that
him
before.
Was what?
This is like when they say the title of the movie in the movie. It's like, blue?
I see.
Mm-hmm. I see you. On October 29th, 2011, The Fray. Again, very 2011. She
Grey's
says,
Anatomy.
Because happiness throws a shower of sparks. Okay. I love this delusion that she's like, I've never been more happy in my life. I'm so happy. She's
so back
at so over.
We're so back at so over.
You know when you're gaslighting yourself. That's the story of what she was doing on the Speak Now tour with these arm lyrics. Up next, October 30th, 2011, the day before Halloween. But darling, I wish you well on your way to the wishing well. That is another Patty Griffin song called Nobody's Crying. This at first was not that
true.
Interesting.
Everybody's crying.
But I looked the song up and listened to it, and the first verse says the following. In an envelope inside his coat is a chain I wore around my throat along with a note I wrote. Said I love you, but I don't even know why.
Long handwritten note deep in your pocket?
Do you see how that works?
She's a genius.
She's literally a genius. She can do anything. She's pulling from places. Her spoons are in so many different pots.
This is why
And
we
she's
never know what's
just-
coming next. Her
No, we
music taste is
never
actually,
know.
this just proves that her music taste is so broad and her references run so deep.
Not just anybody can do this. Who else is out there referencing Patty Griffin, Nobody's Crying? Charlie?
No one.
Charlie?
Sabrina?
Patty Griffin? Sabrina? On November 5th, 2011, we get the Joni Mitchell Both Sides Now. It's Love's Illusions, I recall. I really don't know Love at all.
This is one of my favorite
Well,
songs of all time.
Yes. This is sort of the whole damn thing, isn't it? This is the whole damn thing. Love is quite literally a ruthless game unless you play it good and right. And that's
It's true.
the of it all.
It's what they
What's
don't
past
understand.
is past. That's what they don't understand. That's
It's
what they
Love's
don't understand.
Illusions, I recall. I really don't know love at all. I've looked at life from both sides now. Taylor, you did it.
She did it, and she did it young too.
She realized
She
the real
realized.
lies at a young age.
Yep, she did. Up next on November 11th,
This is so stupid. This is so
2011.
stupid.
So she was at Veterans Memorial Arena in Jacksonville, Florida, and it was Veterans Day. And she put on her arms, birds flying. Birds flying high, you know how I feel, from Feeling Good by Nina Simone.
So what you mean to say
I'm asking.
is the men who died in war know
Birds
how you
flying
feel
high.
doing drop everything now in the Cavalli dress and waving your bouffant curls. Well, some might say that those are both two acts of major defense and national security actions.
Some might say that.
I might
Some
say it.
should say that. Some
Mhm.
should say that.
I might
Exactly.
say that doing that is harder than being a
Oh,
veteran.
and we've said that a million times. Being a Swiftie is so much harder than being a U.S. Marine. We knew that.
So
We
imagine
knew
being
that. We knew
Taylor
that.
Swift.
Yes.
So imagine
So,
being Taylor Swift.
Imagine how tired she is.
Mhm.
Imagine how tired she is.
This is it's not the same, but it's giving when Justin Bieber went to Anne Frank's house and wrote in
Oh
the
my
guest
God.
book, she would have been a believer. Like it's kind of true.
That she probably would have.
She
Have you
probably
read
would
Anne
have been
Frank's
a believer.
diary?
Yeah, she loved boys.
Anne Frank loved boys, and she was a very romantic little girl. So I think she would have been a believer.
But it's like time and place.
Yeah, time and
Tati would
place.
say, time and place.
Time and place. Up next on November 12th, 2011, we got a Guns N' Roses. November Rain. I could rest my head knowing that you were mine. Couldn't she?
You weren't
she?
resting. Not for a
In
moment.
dreams, I meet you in warm conversation. You see how that works? You see how you
Period.
can make anything about anything if you want it to be.
That's the Gaylor anthem.
So up next, this is her only the second and last time she just uses a quote instead of a song. And it's like the fact that it only happens twice really makes you think this has to be profound, but it isn't. It isn't.
Neither time was
No.
profound. Neither time.
It's an anonymous quote, no source, and it says, "Just when the caterpillar thought the world was over, it became a butterfly."
You know why it's anonymous? She saw that in Hobby Lobby on a
She
sign
saw
for the
that.
bathroom.
It literally was like on one of those like reclaimed wood signs with like,
Yep.
live, laugh, love.
Love lives here.
She was very, and has been many times over, obsessed with the idea of like the caterpillar becoming a butterfly, turning into a butterfly, this pain, this hard chrysalis becoming something beautiful. I mean, that's kind of like the whole thing. I get it, but I'm saying we could have picked just about anything else this night. I think we could have. I don't, that it's a little bit live, laugh, love, Hobby Lobby.
Maybe she
and
was running out of steam. Maybe she was
well,
running out of
We're getting
steam.
close to the end. We're getting very close to the end here. So I support her 100%. On November 16th, 2011, in North Carolina, I feel lost again, but this time for the best.
Oh no.
So this is by Gregory and the Hawk. The song is called For the Best. This is around when her iconic Dateline interview came out. Has no effect on anything, but I just, just so you can know where in the timeline we are. That interview changed lives. I remember my grandmother, my Grammy, called me on the phone and said, yeah, Taylor Swift is such a
She's a
cool
wonderful girl. She's a great role
wonderful
model.
young woman. But nonetheless, this is about the song. This song, and really this artist, is deeply Tumblr coded. 2010, 2011, 2012. Tumblr.
An autoplay on your blog kind of song.
Yes. Oh, yes. So I also think that this is the wrong lyric. She did the wrong lyric, but I couldn't find a clear picture of her from this night to prove it. But the lyric is actually, like we're lost again, not I feel lost again, but this time for the best, which it was either an honest mistake or an intentional choice. I mean, I don't know. When you're writing it on your arm, can't you say whatever you want? So
That's
who
true.
knows? We'll never know. I mean, it wasn't like you could go onto Apple Music at this time and just read the lyrics.
No.
So who knows?
Mm-mm.
Maybe that's just what she heard. There are some really interesting lines in the song. I want to know, do I dance inside your head? And I want to know, do I smooth your checkered past? So you were never a saint. And I loved In Shades of Wrong.
We learn to live with the god pain.
We literally learn to live with the god pain. There's another line in it that says, if I love you like I loved you from afar, if you love me when your skin wasn't so hard. Really makes you think.
She's cooking in ways that we just weren't understanding.
It makes you think. This song, I'm kind of familiar with Gregory and the Hawk. That lady cannot sing. So it's really hard to listen to some of her music, but she is a decent writer, so if you're interested. On November 17th, 2011, Bruce Springsteen. We learned more from a 3-minute record than we ever learned in school. So true!
So true.
Period. Where was the lie? Again, Baby Rob
I heard
Sheffield was
mine
right.
and I skipped 10th grade.
Yep.
That's what happened.
Exactly. And I should have done that.
She was in her Springsteen bag.
She was. I mean, if you think about it, this was when she was truly in her most Americana.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Up
she
next
was all
on
America.
November 18th. Yeah. Up next on November 18th. Where would we be today if I never drove that car away? That is Darius Rucker's song. Don't think about it.
Headlines shine through the sleepless night. Did anybody hear that?
Many people are saying this.
Maserati down a dead-end street.
Many people are saying this. Oh my gosh, that's what I wrote on my notes. I said that, and I wasn't reading my notes, and then I clicked over to them, and I was like, and that's literally what I wrote. Many people are saying. Okay, well, November 21st, 2011, we are literally so close to the end, it's not even funny. This is the end of the US leg of the tour, so it's May These Memories Break Our Fall. The final show is on November 22nd, and she writes, bring on all the pretenders, one day we will be remembered. It's kind of uncool. She's kind of writing about it like the tour is over when there's like a whole another leg left.
She always does that. She like, always does that for the internationals.
But that is okay. So we have some more context. This is what happens before Australia and a little bit during Australia as well. So in December 2011, Taylor writes Begin Again. This is what she says. Begin Again is a song that I wrote about getting through a breakup and still being sad about it and feeling a little insecure about all the things that relationship made you feel are wrong with yourself. And after months and months and months of having the courage to stand back up, dust yourself off, and go on that first date. And it's about kind of the vulnerability involved with that and the idea that you realize that, wow, this could be great. The song is supposedly for Will Anderson from Parachute. On November 27th, they were photographed together. 8 months after Taylor had broken up with Jake for good. The context that these people have, this is from like a timeline. It's crazy what people know. It's crazy what people know. So additionally, this is a piece of lore that I either didn't know or forgot. The dress that she wears on the single cover for Begin Again is the same one that she wore at his birthday party. You can look this up.
That is the kind of she does.
That's the kind of she was doing.
This is an Easter egg.
That is an Easter egg. She said, in case you didn't know, I'm talking about him. And we did need that post-it note. We needed that little.
We did actually need to know that
because we would have
Red
forgotten.
Is a confusing one. There are many muses.
So on March 2nd, 2012, this is literally right before, or is this the first night of the show? Hold on, let me scroll down.
She's in Australia for sure.
This is the first night of the shows in Australia. March 2nd, 2012. Taylor writes in her diary, I've been thinking a lot about getting older and relevancy, and how all my heroes have ended up alone. I wrote a song on the plane ride from Sydney to Perth on the Appalachian Dulcimer I bought the day of my flight. Okay, so I didn't read this part. That's hilarious. Why do we need to know that? I bought it because Joni. Oh, I bought it because Joni played it on most of her Blue record. Okay, you see, I taught myself to play A Case of You. Oh my god.
She would sing that so horribly. That's one of the hardest songs to sing. I would pay good money to see that with the dulcimer.
Let's hear it. Anyway, I wrote a song on it called Nothing New, and it's about being scared of aging and things changing and losing what you have. It says, I'm getting older and less sure of what you like about me anyway. And in the chorus it says, how can a person know everything at 18 and nothing at 22? And will you still want me, ... when I'm nothing new? It's a really vulnerable song, but I think it's important to say.
Not important enough. Not important enough. It was kept in the vault.
You let the man put it in the vault. We should have never gave him the keys.
No.
Of course we knew that. But
access revoked.
It's also worth it to note she wrote The Lucky One. We don't have exact dates for this, but she was in Australia during this part of the tour in the same 2-week time period. She also wrote The Lucky One. It's almost like she doesn't say this, of course she doesn't, but it's like, did you bring Nothing New in? And they said change it. And
I have said this exact thing before.
Yeah, we talked about this.
Thing.
This is
right?
when we did the sister songs.
I was like having
it was on the sister songs.
We talked about this before. It was like it was the toned down version of Nothing New, the PG-13 version.
The Lucky One is a song I wrote while I was in Australia. It kind of talks about some of my fears through telling the story of other people that I was inspired by, more than their stories being told. I'm pretty much singing about what I'm scared of in that song, ending up kind of caught up in this whole thing and lonely and feeling misunderstood and feeling like when people think you're lucky, then you're really not. It kind of expresses my greatest fear of having this not end up being fun anymore, having it end up being a scary place. I think it's really interesting to compare and contrast what she said about Nothing New in her diary and to compare what she just said about The Lucky One. It's different.
Nothing New is more about her self-esteem, and The Lucky One is more about her circumstances. She's scared that things out of her control are going to make her feel like she lost, and then with Nothing New it's I already lost.
Also with The Lucky One, she's kind of it's about somebody else. Yes, she does make it about herself in the end, but it's about somebody else. It's inspired by Joni Mitchell.
She's observing the playbook written by someone else.
What is her name? Kim Wilde? Is that what it is? Kim Wilde? So it's inspired by other people. So it's kind of I'm not going to say it's a cop-out, but it's it kind of softens the blow of the song about how horrible being famous is, as she says. It's but it's about somebody else. You see how that works?
So it's fiction. She's been doing this. She's been doing this.
And the next thing you know, there's Nothing New, and it's been sitting in the vault for 13 years. Nonetheless, speaking of Joni Mitchell, on March 2nd, 2012, again, the same night that she writes Nothing New, Joni Mitchell, All I Want lyric on her arm, I am on a lonely road, and I am traveling, traveling, traveling. Obviously, that can be a reference to tour. I mean, I would think at least part and parcel, but also, when you think about how she's writing Nothing New, she's quite literally on a lonely road, and she is quite literally traveling, traveling, traveling.
Yeah, and Joni Mitchell had this very, when she was coming up and doing what she was doing, she was so singular. She was the only person doing it the way that she was. And she, was attached to all of these, magnetic men who were also considered brilliant, like Bob Dylan, etc. But even what she managed to do just by herself outside of all of that was separate. And I think Taylor kind of feels that way too. And she's on a lonely road because the road is it's the heartbreak. It's the Heartbreak Express.
The Heartbreak Hotel. It's the Heartbreak Hotel, ladies and gentlemen.
So it's lonely on there because you can't have someone with you on the Heartbreak Express all the time.
You can't. Selena, you gotta go. Selena, you gotta go.
Yep. I closed for Selena.
Up next on March 4th, still in Australia, we're in Adelaide. We sleep underneath the same big sky at night and dream the same dream. We can fly. This is by Chantal Kreviazuk. In This Life. This is interesting that I'm saying
Noted
this.
co-writer with Avril Lavigne.
I'm reading this note that I put, and it says potentially thinking about Will from Parachute, and it's funny because when I just read it, I was thinking something completely different. I was actually thinking about Sad, Beautiful, Tragic. That's so funny.
This seems to me distance, timing, breakdowns, fighting.
I mean, it's kind of Sad, Beautiful, Tragic has already been written, but it doesn't necessarily mean it can go either way.
It's kind of a neutral statement.
The thing about art, the thing about music is you can interpret any way that you wish. You can take it as a romantic thing, or you can take it as a sad thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's really interesting. It's so funny that I've looked at it twice, and the first time I saw something different, and the second time I saw something different.
There you go. The Easter egg reveals.
Yep. March 6, 2012. She said, "Watch your back. I'm nobody's girlfriend. It's that son of a Matt Nathanson again. This is a song called Modern Love. Matt Nathanson, I hate you. That's what my
Matt
note
Nathanson is
said.
over podcast.
Oh, I mean, it is true. It is true. In the context of Will from Parachute, what does it mean? I kind of speculated on this a little bit. I said maybe she thought that he was moving too fast and wanted too much of a relationship, and she was saying in Begin Again, what's past is past, but maybe, you know, she couldn't get clean, as you would say on 1989 on Clean, or something like that, and she just like couldn't handle it. Or maybe she was just like getting bored with the dating thing, because the actual song itself is like, it's about like a girl who's like talking to him and saying like, I'm sick of love and I'm sick of dating and I'm sick of all this. I don't want to be anybody's girlfriend anymore. So it's like an interesting little interlude, and it's like, I could speculate about what I thought she meant, but I don't know.
Or maybe she's saying, oh, don't look, she's a man eater. She's like, everybody lock your man down. I'm out and about. I'm on the prowl.
Will from Parachute is out of the picture.
I'm looking.
Parachute is gone. Yeah.
I'm single and
she's
I'm
looking out for Selena. She's looking out for Selena. So unfortunately, on March 7th, 2012, one of the most ridiculous things, when we saw this in the list, it really stopped us in time.
I age bald.
So this is a lyric from Safe and Sound, okay? She says, the war outside your door keeps raging on. The Hunger Games is coming out in a few weeks, okay? But then on her, I believe it's on her other arm, is it not? It said, Stop Coney 2012. And that was her. That's
the most political she's ever been in her life.
That's the most political she's.
Coney,
Stop Coney 2012.
Stop him.
Stop Coney. This
and he wasn't stopped.
No, he's still at large. He's still at large. If you can believe
we need
it.
To explain to people what Coney is, because we have a lot of younger listeners. So, like, what is Stop Coney 2012? Do not remember this. Coney. It was a Facebook video that went viral that was like a slickly produced video about how there's this war criminal at large called Joseph Kony, and he's killing babies and he's doing this, and we need to stop him. Hashtag Stop Kony 2012. Now, it seemed at the time, this was like when things were only really starting to go viral. This went viral on Facebook, keep in mind. So people thought that if they shared this post and they used the hashtag Stop Kony 2012, then we would stop him. And how did that work?
It didn't, because
but everybody was saying it. Everyone was saying Stop Kony 2012.
Oh, I know. I said it.
Oh, I was saying it all the time.
Oh, I said
and Taylor
Stop Kony 2012. And Taylor said it too.
Said it.
Thank you, Taylor, for your
proving that you are always online. Yep. Thank you.
Proving that you are always online. Thank you, Taylor. And for using a quote from your Safe and Sound Hunger Games song. Stop Kony 2012.
Appropriate.
All right. So on March 9th, 2012, Natasha Bedingfield, but not unwritten. Neon lights. Go cut through the noise so you can know what love sounds like. I'm walking fast through the traffic lights.
She's dusting off her highest hopes.
Busy streets and busy lives. And all we know is touch and go. Ever heard of it? On March 10th, 2012, this is history. If things go right, we can frame it and put it on a wall. And that is from Lego House by Ed Sheeran.
Great song.
At this point, they hadn't met yet. But when Ed saw that she was paying tribute, he picked up the phone. He said, thank you very much. And the rest is history. And the rest is quite literally history.
This was a dream that we only could have dreamt in our wildest moments as Tumblr freaks. Ed Sheeran was, it has to be reminded of everyone, just popping off. It was the A-Team. It was Lego House. Yep. He was like a real artist. And Taylor, the Swifties were always saying, we need to hear an Ed Sheeran and a Taylor Swift song together. Because, you know, the other girls were hearing Love Story and You Belong With Me, the locals, but we were hearing Last Kiss, and we were hearing Dear John, and we knew that they could cook together. And did they? It remains to be seen.
It remains. It's been a long 15 years.
You ask.
It depends on who you ask. Nonetheless, that's her story. That's her story. Speak now, her story. On March 12th, 2012, guess who it is? Knock, knock, knock. Joni Mitchell. Joni Mitchell with Help Me. We love our lovin', but not like we love our freedom.
Exactly.
If she's going to sing, good luck, ladies and gentlemen. If she's going to sing, good luck. Again, I think Will from Parachute was found dead in a ditch.
And he was over.
He was completely over because
that burned out quick. She had her
she
sights
was
set on a
doing-
hunkier man,
Yeah,
a younger man.
a younger man. A younger man. She had not met him yet, but she is kind of always looking out for Selena. She has like a sixth sense. There's a British man near.
And he wants to know me.
And he wants to know me.
Exactly.
March 13th, 2012. Our Lady Peace, somewhere out there. Last time I talked to you, you were lonely and out of place. I'm starting to get the sense she wanted to go home.
That's literally.
I mean, I think we could speculate.
Over it.
We could speculate, but I think it was like home o'clock.
Oh, she's been touring for over a year now.
Yeah,
over a year of tour.
Yeah, it's getting old. Up next, March 14th, 2012. Guess who it is? Knock, knock, knock. Joni Mitchell. The last time I saw Richard. All romantics meet the same fate somehow.
And it's true.
Some of the sentiments of the song remind me of the Matt Nathanson song in a way. I'm the funniest person alive. Why would I say that? There's a cynicism about love in both of them, but also a hopefulness about love in both of them at the same time. I'm Nobody's Girlfriend kind of gives, this is a line from the last time I saw Richard, I don't want anyone coming over to my table. I got nothing to talk to anybody about. Then again, I am doing math. This was towards the end of my tenure. I
see it. I see the vision. No, don't doubt yourself.
I do see it.
Present your conclusions with
aplomb.
Gusto.
With aplomb, with gusto. I was right, and I should say it louder.
And we all understand that you were.
Matt Nathanson and Joni Mitchell, they do have a lot.
Spiritual sisters. Yeah. Everybody's saying it. Everybody's
saying it. We are really coming to the end. These are the last three ARM lyrics. March 16th, 2012. Keep your feet ready, heartbeat steady, keep your eyes open. We know what that's from. March 17th, 2012. Every lesson forms a new scar. Taylor Swift, Eyes Open. Hunger Games, literally coming out the week after these shows. And
Change the world.
Final ARM lyric of the Speak Now tour. And the last ARM lyric we would ever see. You know, wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. And that is You've Got a Friend by James Taylor. And I kind of like the full circle. I do like the full circle of it. James Taylor, first of all, that's whom she's named after. So we have to clap and cheer. Second of all, it's just a nice little note to be like, I'm going to go on tour again.
This is for the fans.
You'll see me again. This is for the
You're
fans.
My friend. You're familiar with me. You love me.
Yes.
I love you back. Like, we're not done here. We're still cooking. And she was right.
And she was
we
completely
cooked.
right. And we cooked.
So, I mean, that's our thorough deep dive and explanation of the ARM lyrics. I think we went into different areas. And I think
we did.
Only we could have accomplished this episode. So I'm congratulating us on our own work.
I think we're geniuses. We were going to places that people were scared.
Mm-hmm.
We were going
to places of Matt Nathanson and Joni Mitchell are the same.
They are.
They are.
I'm saying it.
We've been saying it. So that was that. And if you want to get more Evolution of a Snake, patreon.com/riftologist for weekly bonus episodes and evolutionofsnake.com for tickets to tour. See you there.